When I found out my dad had cancer and he had 6 weeks to live, my first reaction was to panic and jump in and try to do everything that I needed to do in those next 6 weeks all at once. And that was just too much. So I found a better way.
Welcome to Be Brave. I'm Margie Simmons. And here at Be Brave, we help people discover lasting personal change through creativity, courage, and community. We believe that through practice and daily play in a culture of undeniable support, anyone can transform their mindset to be their best, most amazing self. So today, we're going to talk about how do you process something really, really big without letting your mind get the best of you? How do you get yourself back into the moment to help you process things step by step by step? So it is a big topic. I'm joined today by Jenny Lillidahl, and it really is a privilege to talk on this topic with you, Jenny, because I know you have so many great lessons to teach. And speaking of lessons, everything that we talk about today comes from 25 plus years of working with people just like you. So Jenny, I'm so happy to be here with you today.
I am happy to be here with you, Margie, even if it has to be screen and all of this. It's good to see your face, always smiling, happy. This is a big topic, and it's that staying present in the moment again thing that can be so simple and yet so challenging. And especially today, we're talking about trying not to eat the whole cow, right? So, in my story, for example, some big news, some big tough news, and trying not to solve it all and dive in and think I can control it and fix the whole thing at once. And so that happens in life. It's a normal instinct. It's that fear instinct. It's that panic. It's that I want to get it done. But what we're missing out on and what happens when we jump in and try to do everything at once and try to predict and plan everything out in the future and think we can control it, what happens is if it's a cow, we can't eat the whole cow. It's just too much and it will make us sick, literally. But also we're not firing on all cylinders. Our engine, our mindset, our tools, our skills, our natural abilities are not accessible to us when we're in that mindset. We're in that mindset of trying to control and figure everything out ahead of time. It doesn't work. We just can't function that way. And on top of that, we miss the gifts that are in the moment. So not only are we not in our best mindset, we're not able to access our tools, but we're also missing some of those moment to moment things that are happening because we are out here planning so far
Yes,
ahead.
you said that perfectly.
But,
yes. Go ahead, Jenny.
No, I was going to hand it to you, Margie.
Yes. And I was just going to say, I think that you said that perfectly. The opposite would be true when we kind of take a look at what the possibilities are. In this perfect world is to try to take a step back and then take it moment by moment by moment. When we do that, it helps us to be more open and available for what's needed of us in those really hard moments. Also, so it builds a little reserve when those times are tough for us to use when we need it. If we're not trying to, eat the whole cow. I'm not sure about the analogy for today. Eat the whole cow? Okay. Yes. Eat the whole cow. Yes. I got it. Yeah.
One bite
at a time, which also then helps us, of course, like you just said, enjoy those gifts along the way. Again, some of this you might need some perspective on this as you process something really, really big in your life. But there might always, I do believe, I'm gonna change the way I'm speaking. I believe there are gifts along the way, and if we try to process too much, we might miss those.
That's inspiring how you said that, Margie. Thank you. And back and to that exact point in my story with my dad, which is true, we had 6 weeks. the minute, once I recollected myself and was able to go one bite at a time and take it day by day, I was able to find those gifts. I mean, I had moments with him looking through photo albums and talking and sharing stories that I would not have had I been off planning the funeral and taking care of everyone else around me and doing all of the tasks that needed to be done that I thought I could control ahead of time. So staying in that place and taking it one bite at a time, it's
That's
really, really
really,
helpful.
really cool. So let's get to our teaching points for today. And so I'll take it maybe and give us another analogy of where we might be able to use some of this. So our first teaching point for today is to be able to adjust or have that transition moment when you're going from one thing to another. So I've got a friend that was sharing with me that she physically adjusts when she's going from one thing to another. So it might be taking a breath or even changing her physical position. So, and I asked her for some examples of, hey, when might you use this? And she was saying, maybe, going from a hard conversation and then having to go into a meeting, or, even long day at work, going, to see friends or enjoy, some social time with friends at dinner, any of those times where you're in those jarring moments where each thing deserves you to be present. Some of these adjustments can be really helpful. So she was saying, in the case of, moving into maybe a social experience from a work experience, she might be sitting and she will physically lean in to make sure now she's adjusting to the moment that she's in and she can give it all she has. Or, lean back, just change her perspective a little bit. Again, coming from a hard conversation, going into a meeting, taking a couple deep breaths can help us to shift that. It's something that I've seen in trainings all of the time with different people that we've worked with, how you're carrying some of that residual energy into the next thing that you're doing. So maybe you're walking into a meeting with your arms crossed and it seems like, you're carrying some sort of energy that maybe you're not intending, but you're coming from somewhere that, you haven't brushed that off yet. But, what I always say is you just want to make sure that what you're communicating is congruent with your body language. And so you want to make sure that the group that you're going to work with gets all of you in that moment. And so if you have to take that time to shake off where you're coming from and then take a breath and, be excited to where you're going and give them your all. That's adjusting in the moment.
Ooh. Adjusting. And you told me another story about, if you're willing to share this one, about, I think we were in North Carolina, maybe doing a gig.
Oh, yes.
And you were dealing with something.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good image.
Good image, because I think it's stuff that we all have dealt with in some way, shape, or form. So we were doing a large training for an organization, and so had traveled to North Carolina to deliver that training. I think there were about 1,000 people in the room, and I had just received word that my mom was going in for a surgery back in Minnesota. And so there was this moment of, I'm off stage and we have to go on stage, that I literally had to do that transition moment of taking that deep breath. And it actually turned out to be a really great gift, Jenny, because once I was on stage, then I was able to be present in the moment. And so I think even that analogy of off stage, on stage, what that needs from you. We all have probably received an emergency phone call or whatever those are, those moments that kind of put you on your heels a little bit. Sometimes if you practice those transitions, you know what's needed of you in the moment, you can deliver. And then, of course, afterwards, transitioned out. I think you helped me get on an earlier flight so that I could go and tend to what I needed. But those transitions in that moment were really important, those adjustments.
That's great. That is a good image, on and off stage, being on, being off, and that transition piece. And that's a good segue to our second piece of this, our second point, which is to know what you need right in that moment. So the minute you make the transition, so in Margie's story, the minute you said, okay, I had this phone call, but I'm going to transition to this moment now where I need to be on stage and serving these people, my clients, you just ask yourself the simple question, what is needed of me right this second, right now? And then you've let go of the phone call. You're not thinking ahead, but what is needed of me right now. And one of the things you said to me that I love, that I use, is you said, whatever I need to do right now deserves all of me. I think those were the words you
Mm-hmm.
used, which I love, because that kind of tugs at my wanting to do well or wanting to help people mindset. So knowing that if I'm in that space, whatever is needed of me in that moment, I want them to have all of me. And it's hard to do sometimes. We're not going to get this perfect every time, but it's a good phrase for me. So literally stopping and being in that one moment and saying, what do I need to do right now? And I use this in little ways too. For example, sometimes if I have a day where I have a lot of tasks and they're kind of random, like I've got some laundry or some little things and I've got big projects and they're all kind of mixed up. If I start to think of the whole list, I go into that eating the whole cow thing. I do say the words to myself, okay, that's fine. I've got the whole cow out there, but what do I need to do right this minute? Well, right this minute, I have a deadline to edit this thing or whatever it is. So that's that number 2. And then that moves into number 3, which is just doing the one next thing. Just doing the one next thing. So you did the thing that was required of you now. Now, what's the one next thing? The one next thing. I'm repeating it over and over and over because it's one of those things that's so simple. It's hard. You know, my brain feels like this a lot of times, wanting to do things. So what's the one next thing? Right now, I'm talking to Margie. I'm not doing my laundry, but I'm doing this one thing. And then the one next thing after that. So back to the silly cow analogy. I'm just going to start with one bite. I'm going to chew that bite. I'm going to swallow that bite. I might take a drink of water and then the next bite.
Oh, that is so good. This is, you talk about spinning brain, and boy, I just really feel that way. I feel that way a lot. And so you know, this is something that I'm really excited to practice. And again, I love that you said that we're not going to get it perfect all of the time. And I thank you for giving us some examples of some simple ways to practice it in low stakes. Again, we know that it's so important to practice where the stakes are lower so that we build a little muscle memory, and then maybe we can use these tools when the stakes are higher. Again, we're all up and down, and we're better on some days than others. And so this idea of practicing where we can fail big too, and that's okay, is so exciting in all of the work that we do. We don't have to be perfect. And so that can also take kind of that pressure off of that spinning brain. So to summarize a little bit about what we talked about today, I think your cow analogy is perfect. That pretty sums up what the problem is. And then a couple things that you can do. You can adjust to the moment. You can transition into the moment. And then you can ask yourself, what do I need to know right now? And then just do one next thing after that. Whew, I love it. I love this week. This is really cool.
And then I'm going to call it like the bonus or the cream or I don't know what, the cherry on top. The kind of
Okay.
surprise of this one is when you do those things, when you slow down, adjust, what do you need right now? And then the one next thing. And this will be part of your to do for the week. Notice what gifts come to you that you would not have noticed otherwise. Just notice that. And I'm going to give you a silly example. So I have actually been enjoying doing dishes during this pandemic. Okay. We are eating at home so much more, right? All of us are. And so I think I'm spending more time doing simple tasks than I have in the past. But when I am doing them in this way, the one next thing way, I am noticing things that I wouldn't have noticed. I'm enjoying the simplicity of a fork, or the fact that I have a sturdy, really nice cup. Margie, hold up your mug. Is your mug
Oh,
nearby?
yes.
This giant mug. Yes, look at that beautiful mug. The mug as big as your head. Uh, so, anyways, back to your homework. So, try it. Try the one bite at a time. And the bonus part of the homework is notice what things, what little gifts come to you because you were able to do that. And of course, if you're not in our Facebook group, please sign up to be in that, because we would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear how it went. We'd love to hear what ideas you have, what questions, what is working for you, what's not working for you. Share your wisdom with each other. We love, love, love hearing from you.
That's so awesome. I might put something about our simple tasks on our Facebook page, and we can all share a little bit more of what we've been enjoying doing, because I've been doing the same thing as you, Jenny. Jenny, thank you for sharing that story today. It's not always easy to talk about, but it's so valuable to hear what you've learned from what was a really hard experience. And so thank you for sharing that. I know that you'll be helping someone else going through the same thing. And thank you to all of you that are watching today. We hope that a couple things that we talked about today might inspire you to practice. So remember, we're with you, and don't forget to be brave today. See you soon.